what this round has in store for us. We got 4 crews locked onto the stake boats. It's going to be Rutgers over in lane number 1, Ohio State in lane 2, Indiana in lane 3, and Iowa in lane 4.
Yeah, sometimes the best laid plans, you can put it out there, and sometimes the universe has different plans for you. So it's all how you react to that. And that is, definitely that's a challenge. That's a challenge for a crew when you come off course, if you hit something in the water, if someone catches a crab. It's all how you react to it, and that's part of the training. It's part of the day-to-day training and being willing to make mistakes. I think I mentioned it earlier this morning, but this is one of those events where it's high pressure, it's high performance, but if you make a mistake, it's kind of a no stakes situation. And so this and in here in this 4V, this is really the depth of a lot of these programs. This is their opportunity to take some risks.
Absolutely. And that's not something that is always easy to coach or to teach. It's something that the athletes have to decide that they want to do. Athletic risk taking is one of those things that can be so valuable and have huge payoffs, but it's scary. It's scary for a reason. And so it can be really hard as coaches and mentors to get athletes to be willing to take those big leaps. But when they do, it's so exciting to see, and the payoff is just huge. So it's really, really fun to see these athletes out here taking advantage of these opportunities in these 3V and 4V events.
And I want to be clear, when I say taking risks, I don't mean like they're coaching them to, try and catch a crab or make any mistakes, but
push themselves beyond their limits, what they think they're capable of.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we're underway here in this women's 4v8. Again, we're looking at Rutgers, Ohio State, Indiana, and Iowa. And we do have a pretty even start up at the front of the field. I'll give the advantage to Ohio State just over Rutgers, but Iowa absolutely still in that conversation in that 3-boat field. Maybe just this crew from Indiana struggling a little bit with some of those technical high strokes getting themselves off the line.
Yeah, in this Iowa 4v8, this was the boat that the coach was really excited to see, hey, what can they do? This is their first opportunity to race this weekend in this configuration. And, coming all the way out here to Sacramento and being on that traveling team, it's really a prize. It's a prize for making it through those tough winters, for really that resilience that a lot of these athletes have shown. And head coach Jeff Garbett saying, I'm so excited to see what they're able to do. And they're doing a great job here already, currently in, I would say, second or third. Still, good amount of contact between all the boats as we come down the course. But it does look like Ohio State from the early stages was an early leader.
I mean, I'm thinking back now, one of my first opportunities that I got to take when I was a student athlete, when I got to travel with the team as part of our novice crew, it was impressed upon me early on how important it was to take really seriously the opportunity that I had to represent my team, represent my school and my teammates when I was traveling. I got to wear my team logo on my chest, on all my gear, and people would come up to us in the airport and ask, who are you? What are you doing? And you got to tell them proudly, I'm part of, this team. And so this is what these athletes, I hope, are embracing and really enjoying about this experience. They're repping Iowa maybe for the first time in their careers. How cool is that?
Yeah.
They get to talk to people they've never met before here in Sacramento or at the airport or wherever it is and tell them, this is what I'm doing. This is the cool stuff that I get to do because I'm at Iowa. I'm a D1 athlete. I'm going to go race and represent.
And they are fully representing here. The Hawkeyes doing a great job. They're out in lane 4. They are very, very close right now to overlap with Ohio State. So just a couple of seats separation between Ohio State and Iowa. And I think if anything, Iowa is really on the move here. What's clear is that Rutgers has moved into that lead. They have about a stern advantage right now over Ohio State. Iowa definitely chasing, and then just a little bit off the pace there, it's Indiana. So Indiana still in the picture, but just not quite able to match the top end speed of the other 3 crews. And as we say that, seeing a little steering correction coming out of that Indiana boat.
Well, here's our overhead shot of this crew from Ohio State.
You see that bucket there on the starboard side.
Yeah, great race that we have between these 2 Big 10 crews. Well, 3 Big 10 crews, 4 Big 10 crews, I should say. Goodness, let's get our thoughts together here before we speak. But really, I was focusing on these 2 crews from Iowa and Ohio State, kind of in those in that battle for second and third place position. I do think Rutgers has done enough. They've put themselves in a really good position. I think it's going to take a lot from either of these crews from Ohio State or Iowa in order to make up that margin that the Scarlet Knights have built over this last quarter or so. But great race that we're seeing for positions 2 and 3. Iowa continuing to charge hard and really challenge this crew from Ohio State.
Yeah, great job here by Iowa. They are really staying tight to that Ohio State boat, doing a nice job there out in lane 4. Got to try and be tenacious, I think, when you're coming down the course here. And, one thing to note, that Ohio State boat that is trying to challenge Rutgers, it does look like Rutgers is fairly comfortable, I think, in that first place position. But the Ohio State boat, they were the Big 10 boat of the week for their win over Indiana a couple of weeks ago. And they stayed ahead as well of Oklahoma, but had a tough go of it with Michigan and Notre Dame. So chalk this up to experience for that 4v8 for Ohio State.
All right, as we're continuing to move down the course, it does look like maybe Ohio State is starting to employ some of those tactics that we've seen from this program throughout the weekend so far. Kind of a break late team, just seeing them really start to throw everything at it kind of in the second half of this race. We should be well into the third quarter now for these women's fourth.
Max altitude reached.
Dance with the buoy line a little bit in that Ohio State boat, getting awfully close to those port buoys. No real danger yet. It does look like our coxswain in the Ohio State boat, Sam Frieda, out of Colorado, is able to get her crew right back into the center of the lane. But, when you're in that kind of secure position now, they've done a really good job to move away from Iowa. You don't want to make a little mistake at this point in the race and give up all that hard work that these rowers have done to get themselves established into that second place position.
Right, last quarter of this race coming up. You can see that big white buoy out there with the launch right next to it. That is your 500-meter to go line. So you can bet that the coxswains are going to look across that and then say, hey, if we're going to make a move, we've got to do it now. We're running out of room. So Ohio State really needs to be tough to see if they can, maybe take a couple of inches away from Rutgers. But Rutgers, as they have shown all day, very tough crew. I think they've got it, and barring any sort of major disaster, I think that they've got this one in the bag. Rutgers against the shoreline. You can see those bright red blades as they come towards us, looking very sharp. And then behind them, some other red. That is the Ohio State boat with red and then kind of a gray on the tips of their oars, followed by very close to them, the Iowa boat with the Hawkeyes. They've got that Hawkeye on the outside of the oar. And then just a bit back behind them in fourth place, it will continue to be Indiana.
Well, are you not entertained? The Scarlet Knights driving to the line here at 40 strokes a minute, seeing what they can do to just continue to build this lead between themselves and Ohio State, leaving nothing left on the water, really driving to the line and emptying the tank here in this Rutgers crew. They've built themselves a really handy lead here. That's about a boat and a half length of open water between themselves and Ohio State. Crossing the line now, they've got a nice gap of about 6 seats of open water as well between themselves and Iowa.
And you've got to see a little bit of celebration there on the Rutgers boat as the coxswain crossed the line, gave her crew a hand, said, hey guys, thanks for giving me the ride down the course. And here we go. This is Indiana, the Hoosiers, wrapping up this 4v8.
Well, again, a big thanks to our production team at herenow.com for putting together the production and all the video and all the pictures that we're getting to see of all this racing. One of the things that's such a great benefit of the job that Adrian and I get to do is that we have the best seats in the house. We get to see all of the great pictures from the drones and all of our cameras on shore, including these great pictures I saw in particular of this athlete, Natalie Hammond, the 2-seat of that Rutgers crew, just really hammering it in those closing meters, just being right on the front seat here at the finish line, getting to see and hear all the effort of all these athletes is really tremendous. So very, very lucky to be doing what we're doing. And again, a big thank you to all of our supporters as